We begin CBS2 News at 11 with breaking news. A boy has been shot in the high desert near Phelan. He was shot while riding in a car on the 15 freeway. A bullet hole could be seen in the back window of the car where the driver pulled off the freeway for help.
The boy was airlifted to Loma Linda Hospital in critical condition. The car was hit by gunfire near just below the Cajon summit. Police are looking for the shooter, and the CHP has shut down all northbound lanes of the 15 while they search for evidence.
And another search, an all-out one tonight for a missing 6-month-old. He was last seen in December near the Crenshaw district.
And right now, his parents are behind bars. CBS 2's Rachel Kim is live in Culver City with the latest on the search. Rachel?
Yeah, Jeff and Pat, it's been over a month since anyone has seen 6-month-old Jackson Manson. Culver City police here say his parents right now are behind bars and are not helping them find their baby. So tonight, they're asking for your help. Police say the LA County Department of Child and Family Services reported 6-month-old Jackson Manson missing on January 25th. His parents, Adam Manson and Kiana Williams, were arrested by the LAPD on January 3rd after being found in a stolen car. At the time of their arrest, the baby wasn't with them.
We're investigating everything we can to make sure that he comes home safely.
Witnesses say Jackson was last seen with his parents on December 31st in another stolen car. Investigators believe the couple stole a blue 2006 Chrysler PT Cruiser out of Culver City in November. It was taken from the Upward Bound House, a transitional living facility where the family was staying most recently. We talked to residents there who recognized the couple, but not the baby.
When I first moved in, he had stole one of the ladies' cars that used to live here. They were always in and out, pretty weird.
It's new news to us that they had a baby, and that's crazy.
Investigators want to find the stolen PT Cruiser.
Do you believe that has some clues in it that could help?
It does have some evidentiary value.
The cruiser is missing a bumper and its license plates. Investigators say the family was last seen in the car on December 31st around Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard. They're known to frequent the area. Right now, detectives need the public's help finding Jackson because they say his parents are being uncooperative.
And with the media's help, hopefully they'll see that and they'll call us and we can bring Jackson home.
Police are hoping the baby is with relatives right now who may not know what's going on. If you have any information that can help detectives, please call Culver City Police. Reporting live tonight in Culver City, Rachel Kim, CBS 2 News.
Rachel, thank you. Another chilly night all across Southern California. Oh, people wrapping up in their jackets just as they walked outside. This is in Corona, by the way. Question is, how cold is it going to get tonight?
Well, Garth Kemp is here with a look at the current temperatures. I had my coat on, too, in Studio City, Garth.
Well, you're always cold in here, too. You're cold in the studio, too.
Yes.
But, yeah, actually, for you, Pat, the studio is probably warmer than it is outside. It's 50 degrees right now. Believe it or not, Pat, we are a little bit warmer than we were yesterday at this time. 42 in the San Bernardino, 14 up in the Big Bear, 30 up into the high desert. So we're in the low to mid 40s in some spots. Get by the ocean, obviously. Just a little bit warmer there. There's the change from yesterday. Up 3 degrees San Bernardino, 4 in the Riverside, 2 Santa Ana, 2 Van Nuys. So by the beach is pretty much where we were yesterday. We're going to update you on everything coming up in just a little bit, including a shot of rain coming our way. Make sure your animals are inside tonight. But fortunately, no watches, no warnings. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Thank you, Garth. A small earthquake startled some folks on the west side of L.A. earlier tonight. A 2.7 hit Westwood around 6:20 p.m. And while it was small and didn't cause any damage, a lot of people felt it from Encino to Sherman Oaks.
It is the richest man in the world versus the National Enquirer. Tonight, billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is accusing the tabloid of extortion and blackmail.
Well, Bezos says the Enquirer is threatening to release compromising photos of him. And CBS 2's Tom Wade joins us with the latest on this battle.
Yeah, the richest man on the planet versus one of the most well-known tabloids. This is a pretty strange one. So Bezos is saying he basically blew up the Enquirer's plan to blackmail him. And also tonight, another high-profile journalist claims the tabloid tried to do the same thing to him.
I was surprised that an attorney would put something like that on paper.
Legal analyst Alexandra Kazarian reacting to threats from the National Enquirer against Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Tonight, in a bombshell blog post, Bezos posted emails he received from AMI, the owner of the National Enquirer, where the Enquirer told Bezos to back off criticisms of AMI, or they would publish intimate pictures they allegedly obtained of Bezos.
Anytime that you are withholding information that could hurt somebody's reputation in order to try to get them to do something, whether it's to give you money or something that you want them to do in exchange for not releasing it, I mean, that's extortion.
This saga began when the National Enquirer recently ran a story alleging that Bezos was having an affair with TV anchor Lauren Sanchez. The Enquirer published his personal texts. Bezos then started looking into where the Enquirer got its information, hiring well-known security expert Gavin DeBecker. In the blog posting tonight, Bezos showed letters he said came from AMI, describing the photos the Enquirer has allegedly obtained in graphic detail. But Bezos wrote, "Any personal embarrassment AMI could cause me takes a backseat because there's a much more important matter involved here." Not long after Bezos' post, famed journalist Ronan Farrow tweeted this: "I and at least one other prominent journalist involved in breaking stories about the National Enquirer's arrangement with Trump fielded similar 'stop digging or we'll ruin you' blackmail efforts from AMI." Farrow says he did not engage. And Kazarian says it's possible AMI and the Enquirer could face an official investigation. We'll just see how this all plays out. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tom. Now, an arrest tonight after a man was caught on camera walking up to a cleaning lady, pulling out a gun and telling her he was going to rape her. The suspect has been identified as 21-year-old Eduardo Godoy Gonzalez. Security video shows Gonzalez confronting the woman while she's cleaning inside an office building in Irvine. Detectives say he asked her if they were alone, and when she said yes, Gonzalez allegedly told her they were going to have sex. She threatened to call police. He pulled out a gun. Gonzalez was arrested this evening at his job in Tustin.
You know, we often refer to wild chases on our freeways. Well, for once, literally, a wild chase was caught on camera, but in a backyard. A mountain lion chasing a deer into a swimming pool in Glendale overnight, but it didn't end there. CBS 2's Hermela Auragawi is live for us in Glendale, where she talked to the homeowner who heard the whole thing. Hermela.
That's right. Rachel Wong and her husband say they heard some commotion last night but didn't think much of it. They woke up this morning, found some things in their backyard out of place. They did some investigating and were shocked at what they found. Surveillance video captures a scene out of the wild. A mountain lion and a deer face off in this pool as the homeowners and their newborn are fast asleep.
It was pretty scary, kind of creepy.
Rachel Wong and her husband didn't realize what happened until they looked at their cameras this morning.
I saw the video. I ran into the room and I was like, oh my gosh, did you see this? And I showed him.
Let's take another look. The mountain lion jumps into the pool on the heels of the deer and then immediately gets out on the other side, probably because of the frigid water. The deer spends some time circling in the pool and eventually gets out too. Then on another camera on the side of the home, you see the mountain lion chasing the deer out.
It did seem like he waited, like there was one of the chase lounges in the backyard was quite wet, so it seemed like he hung out and waited for the deer to get out of the pool.
There's some audio at the end of that surveillance footage that suggests the mountain lion and the deer had another confrontation, but it's unclear if the deer made it. Reporting live in Glendale, Hermela Auragawi, CBS 2 News.
Thanks, Hermela. Well, hundreds gathered tonight to pay their respects to the victims of Sunday's plane crash in Yorba Linda. Friends and neighbors showed up to bring light to the darkest loss their community has experienced. Roy and Dahlia Lieber Anderson, her daughter-in-law, Stacy Lieber, and Roy's son-in-law, Don Elliott, were all killed when a Cessna crashed into their home. The pilot was also killed.
The world lost some very good people, but they're celebrating in heaven right now.
The whole nation is going to know what an amazing family this family is, how generous and what beautiful people they were and beautiful hearts they had. And we were all blessed by God above to have every single one of them in our lives.
The friends say Elliott's wife and her son were also inside. They are home recovering from burns.
Tonight, a new David Goldstein investigation. Where is your taxpayer money going to help the homeless?
Well, David found some of it's going to organizations that shouldn't have received it, and he's here now to tell us all about it. Dave.
Yeah, we're talking about millions of dollars here. Now, we tracked some of the tax dollars earmarked for helping the homeless and discovered some of the money was given to organizations that weren't eligible to receive it, and we wanted to know why. How is it that your agency gives millions of dollars to organizations that, by law, are not eligible to receive it? That's the question we posed to Peter Lynn. He runs the public agency responsible for helping the county's growing homeless problem by doling out tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money. But our investigation found some of the nonprofits that received a portion of that money this fiscal year weren't even eligible to get it. And Lynn didn't know until we told him.
You ask questions. It's helpful when you ask questions because it brought that to our attention.
Lynn heads up the LA Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA, a combined city and county agency. It's responsible in part for administering some of the money from Measure H, which was approved by voters in 2017. It added a 1/4-cent increase to the LA County sales tax that's being used to prevent and combat homelessness. We went through the money that LAHSA funded for nonprofit organizations for this fiscal year and found more than $11.5 million going to 5 organizations that were delinquent with the Attorney General's office. That means it was illegal for them to accept money. Should these nonprofits have gotten this money?
Absolutely not.
Jay Handel is the chair of a Citizens Budget Oversight Committee. He examines tax dollar spending for the homeless and other services in LA.
You've got organizations that are taking taxpayer dollars that are not complying with the law.
We found some of these nonprofits have been delinquent for years.
Doesn't surprise me. There's no oversight.
The law requires nonprofits to be compliant with the California Attorney General's Registry of Charitable Trusts, which monitors charities for the state. And LAHSA's own guidelines say qualified bidders have to comply with statutory obligations. But we found Harbor Interfaith Services, which has already received part of more than $6.5 million in Measure H money, delinquent with the Attorney General's office. In fact, the organization was sent this letter from the AG in March of last year announcing an incomplete annual registration report from 2016. Harbor claims it was a clerical error on the part of the Attorney General's office, but AG sources confirmed they were delinquent. We also found Sanctuary of Hope, United Friends of the Children, Testimonial Community Love Center, and Los Angeles House of Ruth delinquent with the AG for annual incomplete reporting. Now, we're not saying that any of these organizations misused any money. What we are pointing out is they're not complying with the filing requirements of the Attorney General's office and yet received millions in your taxpayer money. How does your agency give millions of dollars to organizations that are delinquent and by law are not eligible to receive money?
So these organizations are required to make their filing. They're required to keep themselves current.
And they didn't.
And we're following up to make sure that they get themselves current.
Mel Tilakaratne is co-founder of the Shower of Hope, a nonprofit that is in good standing with the Attorney General's office and is funded through LAHSA.
Number 1 is ready.
They provide mobile showers to 11 locations across LA County. He says his nonprofit and others like it owe it to taxpayers and the homeless to stay current with the AG.
There's a lot of people suffering. So the only way to have that accountability is being registered and making sure that everything we do is reported.
And even after we pointed out the problems, Lynn says they don't plan to halt funding for agencies that we found are delinquent.
We want to make sure that they continue the work uninterrupted without, a paperwork issue tripping them up.
And after we started asking questions, 4 of the 5 nonprofits we mentioned were able to get their registration compliant with the Attorney General's office. Only Los Angeles House of Ruth is still delinquent. The others did update their filings. House of Ruth claims it could take up to 2 weeks to update theirs. Still, questions remain how these organizations are being vetted before they receive this millions of dollars in money.
Seems like a lot has just gone under the radar.
That's what some people are saying, that there needs to be more checks and balances here.
Or it sounds like they're looking for expedience. They just want the money to move, and they're not waiting for the I's to be dotted.
Or not looking in the right place.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's why you have that watchdog, the group that you can go on to find out if that charity has been vetted.
And to their credit, 4 of the 5 did update it in the last couple of weeks after we started asking questions.
All right. Sometimes you need another eye. Thanks, Colby.
David, thank you very much. Hey, we would like to take a moment here to clarify a story we reported recently about a shooting that occurred in a mini mall in the 16,000 block of Devonshire Street in Granada Hills. We reported that the shooting occurred in front of the Sushi Raw restaurant. Police will not confirm the exact location of the shooting, but it does appear the car that was hit by bullets was parked a few doors down from that restaurant.
Well, tonight the FDA says doctors should be on the lookout for a rare cancer linked to breast implants. The agency sent a letter late yesterday to family doctors, nurses, and other health professionals warning about a form of lymphoma in breast implant patients in suspected cases. The FDA recommends laboratory testing to confirm or rule out the disease. It is the first time regulators have issued such a warning to doctors other than plastic surgeons.
The music industry's biggest stars are ready to shine on Grammy night Sunday.
Yeah, but something happened tonight. It was all about the industry's top power players. And CBS2's Sarah Donchie is live in downtown LA at a Grammy Week event to explain. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, guys. Good evening. So nothing beats Grammy weekend, of course, but the nights leading up to it come pretty close, and red carpets were rolling out all over town, so we wanted to give you a peek. Music's biggest night is almost here.
I am so excited to be here and hosting the Grammy Awards this year.
The 2019 Grammy Awards on CBS will boast the brightest stars in the biz. And today, Grammy host Alicia Keys rolled out the red carpet to start the countdown to Sunday.
Music is such a powerful, important part of all of our lives, and it tells all of our stories, and it's important that all of our stories are heard.
The stage is set inside Staples Center with seats reserved for celebs like Common, Dolly Parton, and BTS. And you know, of course, Grammys week is all about the parties. There were several tonight with celebrities and music execs. In Beverly Hills, music's top honorees walked the carpet for Billboard's Power 100 party. And in downtown LA, stars like Rita Ora, Bebe Rexha, and Lizzo turned out to Warner Music's Grammy party. Brandi Carlile is nominated for 6 Grammys, the most for any female artist this year.
There's so many performances I want to see. It's an amazing year to be a woman and to be represented in this way.
My first time being nominated this month.
Yeah, all these parties are just a preview of what is to come this weekend. There's a lot going on. There will be performances by artists like Cardi B and Katy Perry, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And guys, just a small note, shout out to Pat Harvey for helping me pick out my outfit this evening. You know I love you and I appreciate the help. We're going to send it back to you in the studio.
You know what? You look marvelous, Sarah. You really do.
Thanks to you, ma'am.
Oh, no, she's a doll. All right, you're doing a great job. Thank you, Sarah. And she looks beautiful. And by the way, the Grammys are more than just recognizing excellence in music.
The awards are also about inspiring young and upcoming musicians. Tonight, alumni of the Grammy Museum Foundation education programs performed in front of their peers and Recording Academy executives at the Montalban Theater.
Well, for years, the Grammy Museum has provided programs to help open doors for young musicians. The big event tonight is called Grammy in the Schools Live. And CBS is your home for the Grammy Awards. Watch the Grammys this Sunday right here on CBS2.
All right, and hopefully we'll get through the Grammys without too much rain.
Yeah, that's
rain?
Yeah,
very little, huh?
I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, listen, there's a slight chance it's getting thinner and thinner, though, but we'll see how we materialize. Meanwhile, look at that. Wow, one low soul on the pier. You know what?
right.
That's some nice, peaceful, quiet evening out there. Bundled up, why not? 50 degrees, one of the warmer spots, too, you guys, because it's right by the shore. 50 downtown Windsor, Commerce, a little warmer, 14 up in the Big Bear, 30 in the Lancaster, in the 40s, but it's a little bit better than it was last night by a few degrees. You can see Big Bear up about 5 degrees, a little cooler up in Lancaster. Everybody else up between 1 to 34 degrees throughout the area. These winds out of the northwest, and then we get a little northeast action, so it's nothing strong. We're starting to drift a little more offshore, but it does mix up the atmosphere. 62 degrees right now, or excuse me, 62 is where we hit it today. That's better than yesterday's 57, but still below normal. All watches and warnings are gone, but please make sure your animals are in. Help out any stray animals. Still very cold for them. There's the center of the low pressure area. This will start to slide down as we go tomorrow night into Saturday morning, early part of Saturday, I do believe. I think most of the rain will probably be through the overnight period. Still about a quarter, half an inch. You might see an inch in some of the most favored spots total. I don't think this will be an issue at all for the burn areas because it'll be very slow. There goes the high pressure area. And there comes the next low. There it is Saturday by 3 in the afternoon. You can see some showers light down to the south. Snow levels are going to come down. This will affect the grapevine. Yet again, you could get a couple inches there, a couple of inches into our local mountains up in the resort levels once again. That'll just continue to add to the base going up there. That's good news. Then Sunday, this is in the morning hours. Most of the energy stays to the north. You can see some light scattered showers 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, and as we progress out through the day, you can see the snow levels really come down. Light rain goes through the area, but this does not add to a much, maybe about a quarter of an inch there. So take a look at your 7-day pretty quick, show you what's happening. Tomorrow, beautiful, cool, but nice, a little warmer. Then we'll pick up that chance of rain on Saturday, once again through Sunday, and then by next Thursday, you guys, we could see something a little stronger coming away. We're watching that one, more of a atmospheric river. Pineapple Express looks like it's firing itself back up again. It's a long way out, but we'll keep you updated on that one.